Okay, basically, I'm making a video about why I hate being a millennial. A millennial sucks because even though you're young, you get basically very little. All we got is technology and phones and stuff. That's the only thing we got. We don't have anything that our ancestors had, you know what I'm saying? Or even our father generation. We don't have a lot of the same privileges. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, back in the 80s, I mean, they had police brutality. They had, you know, they were getting beat up by the cops and falsely in prison. But now people are getting shot, especially black people. And then at the same time, you know what I'm saying, we got it worse with the women and the games and the traps. It's even more traps, you know, and it's just really hard. The hyper gaming is way harder than it. It's more hyper gaming now than back then, probably 4 times more. You know, you got the social media and stuff like that. And me, I'm not really worried about it. It's just stressful just knowing that, hey, look at, these are the times we're born in, you know, because if you're a millennial, you know, you got older people to just sit around and talk shit about young people. I mean, and I don't know that many young people that just sit around and talk shit about old people. I don't do it, you know what I'm saying? I respect my grandfather, and, you know, I try to respect my father, you know what I'm saying? When he let me respect him, I do it, you know? When people act an ass, you got to put them in check. And sadly, if somebody's older than me, I mean, it is what it is. Because I had times when somebody that was older than me, they were talking so much shit, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm not even going to go there with them. You know, and most of the time, it's always somebody that's older. Usually, 50% of the time, they're like in Generation X, and then the other 50% of the time, they're millennial or Gen Z. So it's about even, really. It's about even. But my brother stepped on his bus or whatever. He's a young kid. He's like 20-ish or whatever. He's a tall dude or whatever. And then this bus driver just automatically started talking shit about how he wasn't going to fight him, but he would call the police on him. And he just stepped on a bus, and this bus driver was already talking shit. I mean, to me, that's extra. Like, you know, if somebody threatened you or were giving you this mean mug, like, I'll fuck you up, yeah. But my brother's a good dude, you know what I'm saying? And I know my brother, he's not the type of dude who got into fights. And even though he did get into fights, I was there sometimes, and you know what? The people were starting to shit with him. So he had to bring the fight to them, you know. And like I say, like, people be fucking with me all the time, but I choose not to go there with them because I'll be at work or some stuff like that, and I don't want to lose my job. And, you know, it's so many cops. I'm in Texas. There's so many cops here that you end up in jail real fast if you're the type of person that try to swing on people. And I'm in college. I can't be out here knocking people the hell out every time I feel like it. Because I'm not a small dude, man. In boxing, I'd be a cruiserweight. You know, I lift weights before. I took some self-defense classes, and I had to use it when I was forced to. But I'm saying, as a millennial, I just feel like I'm getting the worst of all things. You know, I'm young and strong right now, but, you know, you really can't date anybody. You can't do anything. The only thing, I mean, if you were rich, you'll be good, but you still have so many haters. People can't know you have money, or they'll try to take it from you. Women will try to entrap you. We have even more obstacles than Generation X, and they had a lot of obstacles. That's why they were called Gen X, because they were the first people that had to deal with the new stuff they had to deal with. Because, I mean, the people born in the 60s, they had it rough because they passed a lot of BS codes that would put more people in prison. That's when a lot of people became in prison, because it was like, well, dang, people weren't used to the rules. And then you had the women, and you had the drugs, and you had so many things, alcohol, to cope with all of what was going on in society. Jobs were only paying $3 an hour. And, you know, the cost of living back then was probably still high to some degree. I mean, rent may have been $200 a month, but if you making only $3 an hour, you know, you probably only made $300 a month, you know. Back then, $300 a month or $290 a month, and rent might have been $150 or $200. You wouldn't have had much money left over to do anything with. You know, so I understand they weren't getting paid any money. They didn't have what we have as far as knowledge. But at the same time, we have so many things going on with all these shootings and, you know, people losing their minds. Every time you turn around, somebody's shooting. And, you know, cops are just shooting black people every time you look around. So, yeah, man, it's messed up.